Hi everybody, and welcome to Crimson Court Abridged. This is an abridged version of the session, and I will be posting one of these every single week after each session, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. The abridged sessions, my hope is for them to be anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour long, depending on what happens in the session. This is a way for you to catch up and be able to be there for the live stream without having to catch up on about 4 hours worth of D&D session. So with that, Crimson Court Abridged, hope you enjoy. We are going to pick up with the children, the King's Hand, within this mysterious vault underneath Skyhaven. I would like all of you to roll for initiative. First is the construct.
Of course it is.
You can see the construct. One of them is going to, the central one is going to sort of look around and it will say,
"Threat level has been assessed. Minimum. Executing necessary force."
Yo, you know, minimum.
Was that like
Never
vicious
be more
mockery or
offensive.
some shit? Like, what the fuck?
Like,
All
there's
right.
gotta be a.
Was he
there's
even
gotta be-
taking psychic
there's-
damage for that one?
Why'd
he even say
below,
that?
Right? There's one below.
That was
right?
like,
That, like we're a tier above the lowest. Like none has gotta be worse.
I don't care that we're level 2. We are the most threatening things in this.
Exactly.
Via, what you see is that the blood underneath Xanthi, it is beginning to sort of magnetize towards that family, that tree that's beneath your feet, embedded into the ground, excuse me. But you can see Xanthi's blood, something is happening with it. It's very strange. As if it's like wanting to be pulled towards the family tree, but something's keeping it away.
Via's gonna see that, and she's gonna, like, kind of just, like, reopen the wound, and she's gonna tell to all the kids, I think we need to put our blood in this tree, and then they might stop. They might notice us. And she's gonna start rubbing her hand on the roots of the tree.
And you can see your blood does seem to take, and it seems to do what you had seen before, where it begins to spread upward on the tree.
Merrick has no reason to distrust Via, so as much as it'll hurt, he will take his hand along, you know, the Dragonbane dagger at the end of his gun, and he'll just cut his hand up it, and
Okay.
he will step here. He'll just try to just kind of like trail his hand on as much of the center of the tree trunk as he can.
Okay. Yeah, Merrick, take a point of damage. As you do that, you can see your blood begins to spread, and the construct, it's almost like it's like twitching at this point. Like there's this dissonance happening within, where you can see that it's beginning to sort of make a change, but it is still in that defense mode. You're not exactly sure what needs to be done, but it seems like this is helping. Kaylin, it is your turn.
She is going to, with her left hand that is like the gauntlet and those clawed rings, she's gonna drop Mage Hand on her right hand, and right at the wrist where her real hand is missing, she's going to use those claws to rip that open and use her little stump to paint the tree red. Sorry, guys. it
That's
is
so
what
much
it is.
worse than what we did.
Sorry.
What?
Use her little stump.
So funny.
And put her blood on the tree.
All three of the constructs go gross.
I want to leave.
That's what does it. They're like, we're done.
Kaylin, as she's doing that, she's just going to reiterate what Edwin said, and she's just going to say, "We are the children of Talon Fallcrest." Slather that blood.
You can see the tree slowly begins to like take that blood, and it begins to shift and grow, and same as it did at that door, it begins to spread to the very tips of those branches, where all of you would be placed on a Falkrest family tree. And you can see the constructs sort of stop moving and begin to speak.
Anomaly detected. Initial recognition also indicates Falkrest features. If I may ask this of all of you, from each one, a direct blood sample that I may extract. If you are telling the truth and you are descendants of House Folkrest, then I fear I have made a grave error.
And you can see the construct simply will gesture out its hand, and you can see it kind of shift and change into this very small, almost like a pin needle, like a thumbtack, with a small like hand imprint for you to place your hand into for it to prick you, so the blood can be directly harvested by this construct.
No. First, I wish for you to identify yourself and what this place is.
If you do not verify your lineage and blood, I will be forced to exterminate.
Oh, we can do this. We can. And she's gonna run up past everybody and like put her hand in there because she's worried.
Okay, Via, you. And there's like, it doesn't even deal any damage. It's just this little prick. And you can see there is this small amount of blood extracted, and you can see it runs itself up the palm and forearm into the creature. And there's a brief moment of pause.
Blood verification confirmed. Descendants of Lord Landor Folkrest identified. Defense protocol suspended.
Kaylin will move up and hand her stump over.
Okay, yeah, you stump.
Yeah, she drops my
With
chin
just another
again.
hand.
No, man, this one's already here.
Literally the stump. Yeah, stumping it up.
You're already bloodied.
Descendant of Landor Folkrest identified. Defense protocol suspended.
Edwin walks up.
Edwin, you do the same?
Yep. Bastard.
Descendant of Landor Folkrest identified. Defense protocol suspended. If it is of any comfort to you, whatever views individuals might have of a bastard, it has no impact on your blood. You are still a Folkrest.
Edwin looks back to the other two.
She will kind of give a sigh and step up for it, because obviously this is something that needs to happen.
Mhm.
Although I imagine at this point her attention has also been drawn to the fact that her blood was spiky when no one else's was, everyone else's was fine. So yeah, I think there's like definitely a hesitation there, but she'll do
For
it.
sure.
Because
Okay.
I don't want to be exterminated.
Who does? Who does? Okay. As you do, Xanthi.
Descendant of Lord Landor Folkrest identified. Defense protocol suspended. There was a slight malfunction, though. While I was able to identify you as a descendant of House Folkrest, something else seems to have claim over you. Protocols fully suspended. I apologize for my previous actions. My name is Hero, Sentinel and Chronicler of House Folkrest's Legacy Vault. I was initially created by Lord Landor Folkrest in the year 967 AR as an experiment, but then further developed to safeguard the most dangerous artifacts recovered by House Folkrest during their explorations. My last update was on the 27th of June in the year 1030, the day before his 80th birth celebration.
We hold no ill will. You are doing your job. Thank you for not exterminating us. Can we just look around now, or?
I fear there is not too much to see that would be of great interest to you within these vaults. Nothing within this vault is allowed to leave. It was my prime directive from Lord Landor. Everything that is in here is to stay in here, and I am to defend it, regardless of what individual tries to take them. These items that are in here, this chamber, contains 8 artifacts of immense power, each capable of devastating consequences if misused. Lord Landor determined they were too dangerous to destroy, too valuable to discard, and too perilous to be known to the world at large. He believed those of House Folkrest, should they find this chamber, would be responsible enough to understand that. And perhaps, if a situation truly called for it, that perhaps then they would be worthy of withdrawing these items and using it justly. However,
And he sort of scans each one of you.
after our previous encounter, I mean this with no offense, but it seems as though none of you have the strength within to resist the temptation of these items.
Fair assessment.
What exactly are these items?
The 8 artifacts are as follows: the Crimson Crown, the Terminus Blade, the Cogwheel of Eras, the Dragon Skull, the Grimoire of Whispers, the Void Glass Mirror, the Heart of Winter, and the Serpent's Coil.
Yeah, and I'll send the
Thank you.
descriptions, and he goes into what each one of them can do, and how they can be used. So the Crimson Crown is a gold crown that continuously drips with a thick crimson substance that never dries or diminishes. Hero tells you that it grants the wearer the ability to command the loyalty of others with a singular word, but it does slowly corrupt the person's intentions and turns genuine love into twisted obsession. The Terminus Blade is a jagged, blackened greatsword that seems to absorb all light rather than reflect it. It can cut through any material, even magical barriers or enchantments, but each use fractures reality slightly, eventually causing catastrophic dimensional rifts. The Cogwheel of Eras are rusted metal cogwheels that continually grind and produce sparks even when perfectly still, and it allows the manipulation of time in small areas but causes rapid aging or de-aging to living things nearby, including the user. The Dragon's Skull is a small, hollow dragon skull with the eye sockets that seem to follow movement. It's said to contain the lingering consciousness of one of the dragons from the dragon's triarchy or one of their descendants. It grants very powerful draconic magic, but gradually transforms the user's mind to match the dragon's personality and desires, effectively creating a duplicate of that dragon. The Grimoire of Whispers is a stack of ancient books. Their pages flutter on their own as if constantly exhaling or gasping for breath. It contains knowledge of forbidden magic that would allow with the communication of forces beyond the veil, but attracts attention of entities to the reader. The 6th item, the Void Glass Mirror, is a mirror that shows not reflections, but windows into other places, times, or even realities. It can be used for scrying or transportation, but occasionally it can pull things through without warning. The Heart of Winter is a perfect sphere of ice that never melts, emanating a cold so profound it can freeze emotions as well as physical matter. It is powerful for preservation and protection, but prolonged proximity causes emotional numbness and detachment. And then finally, the Serpent's Coil. It's a bracelet crafted from what appears to be a living serpent forever chasing its own tail. It grants extraordinary regenerative abilities, but creates a symbiotic relationship that gradually consumes the wearer's original form. Those are the 8 items that are kept here.
Dude, as a player, I want to fucking use all those. I want...
Has there ever been an artifact from here that has been removed? Or any of these have been ever taken out for whatever reason?
You can see Hero, he looks to you and he nods and he talks.
The Void Glass Mirror at one point in time was removed by Landor Falkrest during the calamity of the Broken Dawn. In order to find an artifact that the members of House Falkrest could use, in order to save Adaria, they needed extra time. They needed to find where this artifact was in a different time and place. So the Void Glass was used then and only then. The rest of the artifacts have stayed here since they were discovered by House Falkrest. Most of the other artifacts that you see here have been kept secret by the matriarch or patriarch of House Falkrest for many, many, many years, kept safe in arcane locks and chests.
Edwin looks around the room. There's nothing else, right? There's just the artifacts?
No, it's just the artifacts.
Okay, thank you, Hero.
Thanks, Eric.
It's just the artifact. I thought I hit my space bar. Oh no.
Dummy.
I was doing so
Womp,
good.
womp, womp, womp.
I also didn't, I know that I shared it last week, but I didn't share it.
What a guy.
What a guy, dude.
Oh, there's the artifacts in the background. I understand now. Yeah.
We could be
Ooh.
heroes.
Cutie.
Edwin, he looks around and just says, well, did we want to leave and go back soon, or?
We should.
Still
Yes.
have plans to go over.
Well, it is also Everyone was still sleeping.
I think
It's
we're
late
wide
enough in
awake
the
now.
morning.
All right. Takes out his mug of boundless coffee. Edwin's just gonna start walking back.
One
Yeah,
final
Mary
thing I
joins
will
him.
say before all
Oh,
of you leave.
Okay.
You are welcome to come back any time. I had thought that the line of House Falkrest had ended. And I have thought that for quite some time. Should any of you require any training at all, Lord Landor has trained me in many of the ways of fighting in the world, from Arcan style, like you use, Octavia, Royal style, like you use, Xanthi, Huntsman style, Serpent style. I'm also skilled in world and font magic, all kinds. Should there be any training you require to sharpen your skills, or any questions you have about House Falkrest's lineage, I would be happy to assist in any way.
Thank you, Hero. I think
Yes,
we'll
thank you.
definitely be back for that.
All of you depart from the ancient vault of House Falkrest, and you head back up into your rooms. Now, what do you want to do for the rest of your day?
I had one thing I wanted to do before we all met as a group.
Yeah, sure.
Not
What's
a
up?
role play thing, just information. So, Merrick knows birds. So the rookery, I assume, is like in a tower up high.
Correct. Yep, it's in the keep.
Okay. Merrick would want to get to like a roof to where he could see where the rookery is, and then kind of a lay of the land, just some high point in the tower, nothing specific, just if there is one.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can easily head to the
then-
Sentinel's Tower, which is where the Lord Paramount's room is. But there is a balcony, sort of like patio there, where you can walk out and you can see a really good lay of the land of the keep, of Sea Haven, and of where the rookery is.
Perfect. Okay, so since Merrick has trained with birds since he was the Royal Falconer, if we were to send a letter to the King of the Nornathi, does Merrick kind of roughly, being a ranger and knowing, like, directions and stuff, does he kind of know more or less the path that the bird would take from the rookery?
Yeah, it would head straight north from the rookery.
Okay. So Merrick, knowing what he knows, he's imagining this bird leaving the rookery and flying north. Is it just going over the city? Is it going near some trees and mountains and stuff?
So what'll be happening is it will begin to fly. It'll go through some mountains. It'll go over some forests. And then eventually it'll be kind of in this like hilly, snowy tundra that starts very out of nowhere. It doesn't seem, it's like not a natural line of snow. It'll fly through Adarian land in this first snow part, but as soon as it starts to get to the more mountainous cliffs, then it's in the Nornathi.
Okay. Here's the weird question.
Okay.
Merrick being a ranger, knowing about birds, knowing terrain, having hunted, a bit in his spare time. If he wanted to, like, shoot down a bird going in that direction, does he see what he believes would be kind of an ideal area where he would want to be to do that?
Yes. Definitely you would want to be right before it transitions from the mountainous lands of Skyhaven into the tundra of the sort of exterior of their land, the border region of the Nornathi and Adaria.
That's where, like, the best shot would be, more or
Yeah,
less, that
the
he feels
forest-
less than the least amount in the way.
Yeah, the forest starts to clear out and the elevation's still high, so it makes the shot a lot easier to take.
Okay. Merrick will jot down whatever he kind of needs just to kind of remember that area. If he even needs to jot it down, he'd probably just remember it, but
Lock it away.
yeah, that's all he would do, and then he would head down for the meeting.
Okay, sounds good. So then all of you will begin to make your way to that private dining hall. All of you arrive in the private dining hall, and you can see breakfast is served. It's a very hearty breakfast.
After those talks, Edwin goes, well, that takes care of that. While we're all here, I did want to discuss other matters. My family. I
Hang
kind
on.
of
Yeah, we're alone here.
Yeah, you are.
We need to start sending out letters, and, well, we already have what we're going to do via. We need you to create the secret note on there. It will be sent to the High King of the Nornathi, and we will be requesting his presence along with Astrid, his daughters. So, just a quick recap. We are going to invite the High King of the Nornathi, who will also have a secret message on the invite created by Via that will also say, hey, bring Astrid and Freya, Edwin's wife and child. And then we will then talk to them or do something in between. We have to let them know what's going on, maybe. And then we're going to invite them back to Adaria. Yeah. We're going to invite them back to Adaria for talks, whatever. Like, actually, what
Yeah, we
we're
could do some
saying...
puppet ceremony, like, at the actual
Yeah,
like, festival.
for-
Be like, oh, hey, we
100%.
should have some talks. Like, it's, oh, what a
Yeah.
coincidence. Say how great you're here. Like, wow.
They will use their ships to transport to Crown's Rest. Merrick will send out a message to his mom and or Garen, was it?
Grandpa, yeah.
Yeah. To create an escort that will help the High King, who is a royal envoy, to get to Crown's Rest, who just so happens to have Edwin's wife and child on board. And then they take it from there once they get across the sea. That sounds like a pretty solid plan. Fuck you, Spy Master.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned, I think. Yeah, no other
Wait.
things? No.
There is one
Yes.
other. I took a look at the rookery earlier today. There is an ideal spot for someone to shoot down a messenger bird if we are to send a letter to the Nornathi.
Can you see it from the tower? Or,
I mean, I saw where I would go.
but if someone was perched there, you wouldn't be able to see it?
I assume it was too far away at that point to see a specific person
Yeah,
there.
it was too far away.
Especially with all the foliage and stuff.
Could we have someone stationed there when the letter is sent?
I was
I
actually
also-
thinking that we should go there ourselves.
To the
The only reason
Nornathi?
someone would... No, to the
Oh,
area
to the
that Merrick
point. Okay,
described, which is...
I see you, I see
Yeah,
you.
no, not the Nornathi. The only reason someone would be there is if they were there on orders from the Spy Master. And if we're able to capture them, we have our first piece of evidence against him. Sorry.
Samson and I could go. And if we see something, I can send a message to one of you, and we can go from there.
Like I said, if we don't stop the Spy Master, all you're doing is you're moving your family closer to where he is. We have to stop him. That's the only way this ends.
As much as I appreciate needing to get evidence as well, I will caution that it will likely be weak. Unless there's anything on whoever is there to shoot down the bird. Unless they have anything on them that connects them to the Spy Master and what their intentions are, it's very likely it could be, well, thrown as simply circumstantial.
Look,
It's a start.
there are no words to describe how appreciative I am of all of you and doing all of this. My main concern right now is getting them within viewing distance and then doing whatever we need to get rid of the Spy Master. But as long as they're in the Nornathi, I don't know if they're safe. Kaylin, if you could, I know you would be fine out there on your own, but I think if one of us could go with you, obviously not me because my armor is too loud, just to make sure on the day we send out the bird.
We'll all be going.
Well, there we go.
It's a plan.
Thank you.
And the two of you feel confident in your ability to apprehend whoever would be there?
I feel
Absolutely.
confident in their ability.
Oh, I'm always confident.
We could bring Karth if we're worried.
I'm not.
You would need to
Xanthi.
have guards with you regardless. Perhaps Karth wouldn't be a bad idea.
Karth it is.
Thank you.
Assuming you're fine with that, Edwin.
Of course. Takes a lot more thought off my brain. All right. We have a plan.
Well, by that point, after all of the discussions that you've had eating breakfast, eventually it actually falls going into lunch. At this point, as another round of food is brought to all of you after talking about
Is
the
this
festival.
just like lunch or food simulator or some shit like that? It's a slice of life campaign.
Exactly.
What happens when you're rich?
You spend
Bruce
so
Lee
much
has
time
great.
talking, you
need
sit
a
through
great
2
test.
meals. So with that, the 3 of you, Merrick, Kaylin, and Karth, you leave Skyhaven, heading down to Sea Haven, and then eventually out into the woods and mountainous area surrounding in search of that spot that you saw, Merrick. With that, the 2 of you, plus Karth, now kind of rejoining the 2 of you, all of you stealth along. The 2 of you move quietly, move cautiously, on the lookout for anything that could be what you're looking for. And as you get closer and closer to that spot, Merrick, eventually the 2 of you do hear something. You hear what sounds to be a man's voice, kind of humming to himself. And as you're sort of beginning to make your way around a couple of trees and these rocky sort of cliff sides that are sticking out and these big boulders, the singing seems to be coming from an elevated, rather small plateau that extends a bit beyond the trees. So in order to get up to that rocky area, there is a rather steep cliffside that you need to climb up that's about 20 feet tall. As you begin to climb up the cliffside, there is a sort of collection of still very full bushes that are right up at the top, seemingly kind of hiding this area. And you can kind of like go prone into that foliage.
Okay. Do I have a better look at this guy now?
Yeah, so at this point, you can kind of see the very top of his campsite, as well as 2 other creatures that seem to be here with him. You see one man, rather rough-looking individual, wearing black leathers, and he has this like large black bandana tied around his neck that seems to be ready to be pulled up at a moment's notice. Short-cropped hair, rough look to his face. He may be only in his 30s, but it looks like he's been through a lot. And up on this plateau, there are 2 wolves as well. Strangely, they actually have leather collars around their neck, seeming as though they're tamed. The thing that is really interesting to you, Merrick, is you recognize a pin on his side. Right underneath the bandana. You can just kind of see it poking out with your 14 passive perception. It's the same pin that the Adarian watch wear.
All right. Merrick's gonna hold his position, but he has his gun trained on one of the wolves, so that if he does get noticed, he's just firing immediately. So he's holding his action basically.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Kaylin, with a boost from Karth, and following Merrick's path, you are able to climb up rather easily. As you get up and you can see the same thing.
You ready for this, Kayla?
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. All right.
That Veltaris is coming out, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We move to attack.
All right.
Please.
As the 2 of you stand up and begin to move in, I'd like both of you to roll for initiative with advantage. And I will roll with disadvantage for them.
Okay.
Okay, all right. As we begin combat,
Hell
Merrick,
yeah.
you are up first.
All right. Merrick is going to run. I'm thinking we try to clear the wolves first, Kayla, to get
I have an idea for the wolves. I don't know if it'll work. It'd be really cool if it does. I don't know if you want to trust me on it or if you want to do something or.
I mean, how confident do you feel?
I think
I don't want to take away your cool plan.
But I don't know. Like I can't control these wolves.
All right, I'm choosing to put my faith in my sister and in you, Kayla. All right,
Oh God,
Merrick's
okay.
gonna run up on this homie. I don't know how to be more supportive than that, Kayla.
That's okay.
All right, he's going to run up. Bonus action. We hunter's marking, baby.
Okay.
And he will attempt to stab into him. So he will roll to attack.
Merrick, as you run up and you slash with the
jeez.
the dagger, you can see he didn't see you running up at all, and he lets out this, and he sort of falls over onto the ground, barely able to catch his breath in this moment. Anything else?
That's my movement action and bonus action, so that will be it.
All right, Kaylin, it's your turn.
Okay, Kayla's gonna take an unorthodox approach here. She's gonna climb up and she's going to stand in front of both of the wolves, kind of pulling her hood down, and she's going to scratch at the air, clawing the spell Speak with Animals, and as aggressively as she can, and also remembering some of the things that Bjorn has taught her, she's gonna take a very like primal stance in front of these wolves. She's almost down on all fours, and she's just gonna shout in their direction, and she's going to say, "The great serpent is coiled and ready to strike. Do you dare defy him? Stand down now, or I will end you." And she's like baring her teeth like a bear.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make an intimidation check with advantage
is
after
sick.
seeing Merrick almost kill their master.
Still could. Don't forget.
Hey, that's better, baby.
That's pretty good. 22. You can see both wolves. They're immediately ready to jump into action, but you can see they stop as you begin to yell, and you can see they look to each other and they speak to you. We will not attack, but please do not hurt. Do not hurt our master more. Please. And you can see the wolf right next to it, pretty much all white, says, "Yes, please. We will not attack, but do not hurt our master more, please."
She's gonna raise a hand and she's gonna say, "Sit. He's gonna be taken for questioning."
See both wolves, they go to sit on their hind legs like, all right.
That's all
I got,
Merrick. It's all you, big dog.
What do you mean that's all you got? That was awesome. I can't believe you almost let me turn that down. I would have felt like a jerk.
So with that, it comes to Karth on his turn. You see he lines up a shot, but sees the
Situation's
the
handled.
man, falls down, and the two wolves are subdued, and he sort of like looks and he lowers his rifle and says, Kester, is that you?" To the man in front of you, Merrick. As that'll be the end of Karth's turn, it'll get to his turn, and we're gonna go ahead and end combat as he says, I submit, I yield, please, I submit.
And it seems he's being honest. Like, he's not, like, motioning down to, like, a dagger or something to stab
No,
Merrick.
he's like
Okay.
barely conscious, right? He's at 1 hit point. Like, he's really...
Damn.
Sleep for 8 hours, you'll be fine. Anyways. Merrick will basically turn him onto his stomach, pull the hands back, pull out his rope, and he's just gonna tie him up tight.
And at this point, Karth will make his way over to the side.
And I assume knots are all good. Like, I'm not worried about this guy escaping, especially since I almost killed him in 1 hit.
Yeah, exactly. He's like barely hanging on.
Okay. Merrick will throw a Cure Wounds onto him, because I cannot drag this guy back the entire way if he's at 1 HP.
Which I will go ahead and share this now. As
There you go, he's fine.
oh yeah. You can see
Right.
as the wound like seals up, and the only thing that's left is the stain of crimson on his black leathers. As Karth climbs up, he says, Kester, that is you. What in God's name are you doing here? This is... Well, I'll go ahead and show it to everybody. That's Kester. He's, a Blackthorn. a distant cousin to the steward of Skyhaven. He was, and you see kind of grimacing at the man, definitely Karth Sr., and Kester's in his late 30s. He was discharged from the Adarian Watch dishonorably. Said to have executed excessive force. There was a situation that unfolded. I'm not sure on the details, but there was an innocent who was hurt, and someone had to take the fall for it. And Kester was the one who swung the sword, so to speak.
Looking over at Kester, does he say anything, or is he denying the charges or anything? Or
He's not denying anything.
Merrick will reach out and he will rip the Adarian Watch pin off. Impersonating a member of the Adarian Watch is a crime. One of many, I'm sure. Just not talking.
Yeah.
It glances over to Kaylin, because talking is a little bit more her thing than Merrick's.
Yeah, she's gonna walk over and she's gonna kind of like. She hasn't really left that position. So she has like her teeth bared. If it wasn't for the fact that she was just intimidating, it might look a little silly, but the wolves really got it. So she's carrying that power over. She's gonna kind of lean down. Someone spoke to you. You do them a great kindness to respond.
Just promise me my dogs won't be harmed.
They're my friends too. They're fine. They won't be harmed. Now speak.
Listen, I'm being truthful here, all right? There was an individual from one of the gangs of the Undercity. A warforged fella. He reached out to me and he said that he knew that my family would frequent Skyhaven and that I knew the lands well. And so I was to go here. I'd be paid for it. And any falcons, any ravens, any messages at all, leaving Skyhaven, headed towards the Nornathi, I was meant to shoot down, write down what they had on them, and then resend the messages myself. So that way the messages still got there, and then send copies to the Undercity, and then that was it. Listen, it's hard to come by work after what happened.
Do I believe him, or do I feel like he's purposely giving enough to whet our appetite, but is holding something back?
Make an insight
Kaylin
check.
also was curious.
Yeah, let's make an insight check.
I'm gonna guidance right in front of his face, because I don't care if he knows. If that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
I'll take a little bit of that.
I
Double
mean,
dip.
why not, right? All right.
Wait,
Well,
is
it's
this
probably
insight?
good. It's yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm an idiot. It's fine. Beep bop.
It's probably not. Yeah, well, it's not going to be me. It's going to be up to you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Yes, Kayla.
18. Merrick, as far as you can tell, it seems as though he's telling the truth. Caitlin, however, it does seem like he's holding something back. He doesn't look at you the entire time. There's a few moments around his story about somebody reaching out to him from the Undercity in particular, where he kind of darts his eyes to the side and you just barely catch it.
Kaylin is gonna sit down on the ground, just in front of him. I know you're lying. I know that you're not telling me everything. I don't want to kill you, but I need to know what you are not telling me.
Like I said, I'm telling you the truth.
No, there's something missing.
Merrick pulls back the hammer of the rifle, and he doesn't point it, but the rifle just kind of motions in the direction of the wolves.
No. And you see he kind of like jerks in a moment, like towards you as if he's like getting ready to get up. And you can see Karth sort of pulls back the hammer on his rifle and pulls it up.
Merrick doesn't flinch.
Oh. You see he like looks to the wolves and looks to you and looks to Kaylin.
Kaylin's gonna put a hand on his chest and sit him back down. I don't want to hurt anyone. But what you're doing is putting a lot of people in danger. A lot of important people in danger. I need you to be honest.
Yes, I know it's wrong what I've done and what I did, but I just what's gonna happen to me?
We have a justice system for a reason.
I was only discharged because I followed orders.
I understand, and that's not the issue that we are talking about right now. We all do things in desperate times. We all make choices and mistakes, and we have to live with them.
Oh, except for you royals, right? How many mistakes do you get to make and just walk away from? How many small people take the fall because of mistakes you make, huh? No, you don't even know.
Every day.
You'll never know because it was kept from you. And then if I talk, who gets swung on the gallows? Me! I do!
Is that your decision then?
No, I'll tell you who contracted me to do this. The Warforged set up the meeting, but it was with a noble, Damien Thren, a vassal to House Eldrin. He has an estate in Crown's Rest where he works with gifted youth to determine if they're worthy of going to Arkenvale. He's the one who I spoke with. I promise that's the God's honest truth. He paid me. Eldrin gold he gave me. More than what I knew what to do with.
How much?
500. And I had to stay here for 6 months. Any letters I found, send back. He sent me maybe... Been here for a month and a half now, I think. Ever since you all, ever since the King's Hand started.
Honesty will keep you from the gallows. You have my word on that.
All the truth except those that matter, right?
With all due respect, sir, you don't know who I am.
Oh.
You may have heard tales and whispers. You may think you do, but you don't. What you do know now is that I'm going to be the one to make sure you don't die today. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
I know I might spend the rest of my life in a cell. The names are Shade and Ghost.
Kevin will look to the wolves.
Shade, he prefers veal. And Ghost, it's not good for him, but he loves pork. I don't know what will happen to them, but if there is somewhere they can go, where they'd be taken care of, they don't deserve this. Whatever happens to me, they've never done no wrong. They just kept me company, someone to talk to.
I will see to that they are taken care of. Kaylin looks over her shoulder at Merrick.
He gives a nod.
Kaylin's gonna look at the wolves. Please come say your goodbyes.
And they do give the like little like nibbles with the front of their teeth, like on his cheeks and a couple on his neck as they nuzzle into him. And he says,
I promise I'll be okay. And if I get out, come back here and go hunting. Just be good. You listen to what they tell you to do, alright? Don't try and break me out.
right? You can see the two wolves, they kind of growl lowly, not out of anger, but in agreement. A couple of whimpers, but they sort of step away. And
Yeah, Kaylin's gonna turn to them and she's gonna pull like a small like trinket out of her pocket. She's gonna crouch down to them. If you follow this scent, it will lead you to someone who can guide you to a safe place. Consider this a kindness. Do not mingle with people with ill intentions, because this could have ended very differently today. And she's gonna gently take the collars off of them.
so you let them go, and the wolves, they kind of very much apprehensively, they do begin to sort of walk away, trot away as they continue to look back at their master, at their friend.
Looking to this guy who I imagine is fairly broken and defeated right now.
Yeah, he is.
If you received your freedom, would you testify about who hired you?
I would, but makes me nervous, 'cause I don't have an endless pile of gold, friends in the schools, friends in court. I'd just be nervous of what would happen afterwards.
You'd have a chance. That's the best I can offer you.
This could have gone differently, so please remember the kindness that was shown to you today. And know that we are only acting out of the safety of those that we love and care for, too.
You feel it very deeply as the sun is beginning to dip behind the mountains, as it's beginning to fall. The sun hitting your back, Caitlin, you can see your shadow outstretched in front of you, going over the ledge. Caitlin, you notice something really peculiar about this sort of large tree that's right next to him and right near you. It's like as he speaks, as he experiences the sorrow, as you feel it so deeply, this oak tree to the side, its shadow stretches it's so much further and incredibly deeper, almost as if the ground around the tree around him were being dragged downward. And when you look down, Kaylin, you blink, and you have to blink a couple of times because you're not exactly sure what you're seeing, but these tiny hair-thin roots extending from your shadow into the soil, not physical roots, but these ethereal tendrils connecting you to something much deeper, much further below, so deeply entrenched in that sorrow he feels right now. The moment passes in seconds. Merrick doesn't notice, Karth nor Kester notice, but Kaylin, as you look up past Kester, there for a moment, you think you see something in the trees. Looking back at you, a bone mask, large 10-point antler, a tall figure, 10, 12 feet tall, looking to you. And then a blink, Kaylin, it's gone, but you recognize that figure. Unmistakably, you recognize.
I think in that moment, she is so stunned that, like, absentmindedly, she, like, takes a step forward and then just is rooted to the ground and just, like, staring. Like, she's disassociated so hard from everything that has just happened.
Merrick noticed that, I assume.
Yeah, Merrick would notice that.
I think as he kind of grabs Kester's arm to, like, escort him back. Kaylin.
While she's locked in. Ah, wow. What?
What are you doing?
What? I'm... Nothing. Sorry, I just thought I saw something. We should go. We should leave.
Kayla, is it okay to say that Merrick doesn't believe you?
Yeah!
So that wasn't your most convincing work. Yeah, he just kind of watches for a second. I mean, he knows something's up, but he doesn't push you. Now is not the time. Come on, Karth. And Merrick will start escorting Kester away.
Sounds good. So with that, 2 hours, 1 hour of travel there, the kind of like 30 minutes you spent talking to him and the hour back, you do eventually arrive back in Skyhaven. So the collective of you do group up and you begin to talk, I'm assuming, to debrief about what you found, what you saw, and where that prisoner is currently.
Yep.
So, back here in the private. So for brevity's sake, you kind of go through what the events that we just witnessed and how they transpired. Fantastic.
Yep.
So as the events are debriefed, does anybody have anything else they want to add or anything they'd like to do?
Do the name of the guy that hired him, I don't remember what it was. I apologize.
You're good.
Yes,
I didn't put that in the
Yeah. Damien Thrin.
Damien Thrin, yep. Eventually, get to the next morning, as it is a pretty warm October morning as the sun begins to rise. It is about 68 degrees, so it's pretty warm. Gemma, get the rest of the world conversion if you'd like, for everybody else. The downside is...
Can I maybe do something before we do head out?
Yeah, of course.
Just early that morning, Xanthi would want to go to where our little prisoner's being held.
Okay, let me turn the fun adventure music down. All right.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, you're good. You are good. So yeah, Xanthe, you head to the dungeons of Skyhaven. You can see there are some individuals here for crimes they've committed that the Adarian Watch of, or banner bearers of House Falkrest that have thrown in here. But you do eventually go to the cell where Kester is being held. The footfalls approach. You know, he just kind of shakes his head and says,
I already said everything I know. I promise you there's nothing else.
I do understand that, and I do hope it is correct.
you see immediately there's this like panic on his face.
I just think I understand what your attitudes towards all this is. In terms of the Adarian Watch and in terms of giving your testimony. But I just want to reiterate the fact that I'm sure it has been already delivered to you that testifying against this employer of yours is important. I implore you to not do anything foolish.
No, I wouldn't do anything foolish. I have enough experience to know better. But an order's an order. So if this is an order, I'll follow through. Just like I did. But hopefully this time, Princess, it'll work out better for me.
It is an order, and you will follow it.
Then I will follow it.
It's good to hear. I wait to hear what your testimony is. When the time comes, of course.
You see he's just like this tight grip on his jaw. And his teeth are about to crack from how much pressure he's clenching his teeth.
Enjoy your stay here, I suppose. And she'll just kind of like clack the little bars and then go to walk out.
Okay. You can see, you can hear Xanthe. You're about 20 feet away. He just lets out this, like, scream, this just cry of anger and rage into the empty cell. It echoes throughout the hallway, and you can see rats all around skitter and run away. And on that note, that is where we're going to go ahead in tonight's session.
You know, for a while, this was our happiest session, but we really had to prove that wrong, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you